We're going to continue with night chapter 1, but we're going to look at the warning signs kind of rapid fire. So we just went through the first warning sign where Moshe the beetle, because he was a foreign Jew, right? He was a foreign Jew. He was taken, he was left for dead, and Wiesel is in the meantime giving name, right? Because I think he gives name to the Malka and Toby, these other people who were also, left. So that was the first. Then, kind of rapid fire, where we're talking the people had kind of forgotten. Now it's 1944. If you know anything about anything, this ends in 1945, right? And so as we read, Moishe the beetle, had even fallen silent. He's not even speaking. He's weary of talking. And this was when, people, it was still possible to go to buy immigration certificates to Palestine. So that's to escape Europe. Wiesel asked his father to sell everything and to leave. And the father says, I'm too old. So kind of tricky. The people didn't really know. And then the Germans will not come this far is kind of, this optimistic sound. But then we have it. German soldiers, right? Come to occupy Siget. So that's a warning sign. That's kind of warning number 2 is now there's German occupation. Right. And then the people get used to it. It's kind of to me like the frog and the boiling water effect, right? Where a frog doesn't know it's in boiling water until it's too late. Perhaps this was the same deal with the Jews of Siget. And then, people are kind of okay with these Germans, right? You wouldn't believe us. They were your Germans. Where is this famous cruelty? And they're already in the town. 8 days of Passover. And Moishe the beetle comes running to the house saying, I've warned you. And then he left without waiting for a response. To me, this makes me think, what does Moishe know that others don't? Right? And then the regulations start, right? So the Hungarian police burst into every Jewish home, and a Jew was here henceforth forbidden to own gold, jewelry, or other valuables, right? So that's kind of warning number 3, that they're not allowed to own anything of valuable, right? Everything had to be handed over to the authorities upon penalty of death. So Wiesel's father buried the savings. Okay. Then we have another decree, right? All of a sudden, Jews have to wear this yellow star, and that would be the Star of David, right? And so by wearing this yellow star, it's kind of warning number 4. They have to identify themselves, right? And the people are still kind of saying, oh, it's okay. Warning sign is fine. It's not lethal. But clearly these are kind of getting to be oppressive times where we are, opposition and identifying as you versus me. It's a form of othering. We're making you seem like the other, the bad guy. And then came the ghettos, right? So separating where you live. They were created in Siget. There was a large one in the center of town, and a smaller one that extended over several alleyways on the outskirts of town. Little by little, life returned to normal. So chapter 1 is all about warning that then kind of goes back to normal. And so the people are kind of getting used to this oppression and even life that is dehumanized. right? There's a Jewish council that's appointed, as well as Jewish police, but really now that's just the people, the Jews against the Jews. And people thought this was a good thing, but really it's another form of just othering. And now we've got these Jews, some are on your side, some are not. Right, we still have this idea of normalcy. Children are playing games and hazelnuts. But then night fell. Something's wrong, right? Something must have happened. Story interrupted and would remain unfinished. Ooh, this a little bit is like foreshadowing, or kind of a wink that maybe Jewish life in Siget will remain unfinished. So now we have 2 German officers that are with the Gestapo. It's midnight. People are trying to sleep. There's kind of, this mood is very tense. It's like something's going to happen, right? And then at last, they ended their meeting, and the door opened, and his face, my father's face, was drained of color, meaning he's under some kind of stress or a void of emotion. Maybe he's just letting his body kind of do the actions. He's not really thinking, right? The news is terrible. Transports. So maybe the Jews of Siged will have similar fate of Moishe and the foreign Jews, right? Because the ghetto is to be liquidated entirely. Departures were going to take place street by street starting tomorrow, starting the next day. And where will they take us? It's a secret. It's always a secret. But apparently the president of the Jewish Council knows, but he would not tell or could not tell because the Gestapo would shoot him if he talked. So again, there's this sense of othering and even dehumanizing. There are rumors to be taken hungry to work. And so this is kind of the beginning of those initial warnings, and nobody in Siget listened. And there was, 4 or 5 major warnings that were just left unseen or ignored, or people thought and wanted to give pity, pity, pity. So it kind of makes you think, in times where people may have needs, who is listened to and who is ignored.